Welcome to the Mitchell&Mitchell Sip and Spill Show. It's your boy Eddie Ed here and my girl Kimmy Kim in the Mickey Ficky building. How is you doing, Kim?
I'm good. I'm good.
Today is a
Spill.
beautiful, huh?
Spill.
Spill.
Yeah, sip.
Sip and spill in the
I'm
house.
spill. You just said straight Kim.
Kimmy Kim, aka Spill, in the
Yeah.
Mickey Ficky building. And today is a good day. Today, as we just got finished, I guess celebrating whatever we got going on. You can hear the ambient noises outside, but today's a good day. And today is a day we're going to focus on some really, really good positive stuff. I want to highlight a good brother that's in the neighborhood, that's in the area, that's from around the way, that's about to be beyond around the way, that's about to be blow up and those type of things and help a lot of people. Welcome to Sip and Spill Show, brother Wendell. How is you, brother?
I'm well, man. I'm
Good.
well.
That's what's up. Kimmy Kim, it's always good to have people that come into our space. We can learn from, we can see what's happening and what's going on with people, and see how people are empowering others. And we pride ourselves on making sure we do as much as we can to build the community. But we actually run into people who are actually putting in the groundwork, who actually are with the lunch pail out there, actually getting it done and giving back. It's a wonderful thing to say, especially as a person of color. When you say Kimmy Kim?
Yes, I agree.
So
you didn't Wendell. So y'all know how sometimes Sip get on here and say stuff, and your girl be sitting back quiet because I'm like, I'm gonna let you go on and say, But Wendell, what's up? Okay, so I'm gonna get right to it. We got you on the Mitchell&Mitchell Sip and Spill Show, but we actually brought you on for I like to call it our little the brother of Mitchell&Mitchell Sip and Spill Show, which is BPEP. So it's our Black Prism Evolution Project. And with that, we kind of have what we want to do with that. Our nonprofit organization is to be able to, as Sip would say, he calls it from the root to the fruit, and it's fruit. But I just like the way it sounds. So with that, the root to the fruit, and it's basically recalibrating, re-entry, re-looking at things differently, the way a lot of belief systems are set up, and then influencing different people to actually we actually want to give them a platform for such as men that has been in incarceration, people that have come out of being incarcerated and getting their life stabled, and getting back into society and looked at as an actual human person, you know what I mean? So with that said, there's a lot of things that they go through, and I'm quite sure you're aware of that. So why don't you tell us who you are and what you do?
Okay. I'm Wendell Robinson, and I am a system impacted individual. I served just over 25 years. I'm what you call a former juvenile lifer. What does that mean? That means that 17, I was charged with some crimes, subsequently convicted of these serious crimes and sentenced to life and 35 years in prison. And it was a monumental Supreme Court ruling that said it was unconstitutional to give juveniles mandatory life in prison. And with that monumental ruling in 2012, I was eligible, to go in front of a judge. The judge would be able to look at me, look at what my supporting cast looked like, look at what my reentry plan, and what my disciplinary record looked like while I was in prison. And he seemed fit to give me a second opportunity. Well, actually, a first opportunity. I was a child when I was a child, literally a child when I went in prison. And with this second opportunity, I had aspirations of driving trucks. That didn't work out too well. And it kind of thrust me into the work that I'm doing now. The work that I do now is really near and dear to me because I work for an organization whose primary focus was to abolish juvenile life without parole in this state. And earlier this year with House Bill 1064, we did that. We abolished juvenile life without parole in the state of Illinois. And I'm proud to be a part of that, saying that was a sentence that I had. And I know so many people that sentence affect, and I know so many people who still incarcerated with extreme sentences. So like now, my bigger thing now is just to kind of really invest in system impacted people, and investing in system impacted people come by way of just giving people a fair shake. I think for the longest time, us, particularly men of color, we haven't had a fair shake. And sometimes a fair shake just is as simple as just basic things, you know,
Mhm.
a wage, having an opportunity to have benefits, having an opportunity to fair housing, you know, because for the longest time, a lot of us have conditioned ourselves to play on an unlevel playing field. So now it's like, just give us a fair shake and, you know, let us see what it is that we do.
So would you say that a lot of people will say that, playing devil advocate as well as just saying you're a black man, okay, we understand that, but you kind of evolve within your environment, the way you grew up, you was in the projects. So is that what you succumb to? Is that the reason why y'all in gangs, going to jail? Y'all don't really have nothing going for yourself. What would you say to people that think like that?
I think people that feel that people succumb to their environment, it can be a real thing, because I think one of the things about coming from certain places, there's not a lot of exposure, and oftentimes people emulate the things that they see, and where I come from, and it's not to glorify any one particular set of crime, but that's pretty much what I saw as a child. It was about where I come from. It was about who the baddest. And as a kid, right, you grow up trying to be who gonna be the baddest, and that's kind of like what I was exposed to. So I'm not glorifying it or anything, but I come from an area that it was enriched with just a lot of things that was unsavory.
I think a lot of black men that grows, especially if they had a single mother. My mother was a single mother. She had 8 children, and then she had 3 boys. We lived in the projects. I'll never forget this. 1278 right here in Chicago. My mother, my brother was, basically damn near beat to death because simply just coming home. But that was his environment. So it's like he didn't have a choice to decide if he was going to get in jail or get out of jail. He didn't have a choice to decide if he was going to be in the gang or out of the gang. He was going to get his ass whooped, take that ass whooping, and then be injured. You know what I'm saying? Be in the gang, or you're going to get another L for not wanting to get in the gang. Then he had to protect my other brother because that was his little brother. So I understand that is a thing. Then a lot of women saying, this is all I can afford. This is where I'm at. This is my upbringing, and they having these young boys, and it's like, so I try to put them in Boys and Girls Club, or I try to put them in things. They say, some things of that nature could be problematic. So overall, what would you suggest if I'm living in the projects? I'm a single mother. I got 4 sons. What should I do? Because I can't take them out of that at the moment. This is how I'm surviving. So what would you suggest that they should do in order to have a different outlook where they will never see a day in jail?
And that is a really complicated question. So much so because it's like when you just be practical about it, she didn't create those 4 lives by herself, right? So right. And it's sad that she has to endure raising or rearing 4 children by herself. But I think that is one of the more that is a larger contribution that is missing in our communities. The lack of our male figures. And like with her having to deal with something like that in this moment, it's hard to tell a woman how to be a man, right? Because she have 4 boys. It's hard to tell a woman how to be a man. But I applaud all of the single mothers that are doing jobs that should be complimented with a man, right? It's like I said, she didn't raise those. She didn't create those lives by herself. So it shouldn't be a situation where she's rearing 4 young boys by herself. That's scary in itself.
It is, but it's the world we truly live in.
It is.
Which is why I say, going back to why I think Sip and I is really all about the program that God laid on his heart, which is Black Prison Evolution Project, is to be able to give those type of young men that grow up and they did not have a father. But then there's guys that have a father that live in the house. They've been there all the time. Been there every day. They see their father go to work, come home. He don't have no engagement, but he's present. So he actually have a father. Those children are just as much suffering as the children that don't have a father in the home. So what we want to do, and I'll let Sip elaborate a little bit more, what we want to do, Wendell, is to be able to get those young men at a very young age to be able to put in them different belief system, a different way. Like you said, we kind of succumb to our environment. But if you was told a different way, if you was showed a different way, you have that mindset to look at things differently.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that's the nail on the head right there. Just having examples, because oftentimes it's not examples, as to what like a male look like. I mean, anatomically, you have certain body parts or certain attributes that make you a male, but it's certain things, it's certain attributes that just make you a man, right? Men, like in a nutshell, in my opinion, I mean, we guide, we provide, and we protect, right? That's just my opinion, right? Those are the things that men do, and if you have a lack of, or that absence, it you gonna fall by the wayside. And I mean, not just the young men either. I mean, I think it's really vital that young women see what a man look like, how a man's supposed to treat his mom, or those are things that I think resonate at an early age.
Yes. When you say sip, you want to talk more about when you are expressing, when you said the root to the fruit?
So, when I talk about the recalibration of how we think, it is talking about from an inception, earlier on if possible. And also, I mean, a lot of what I realized throughout the course of my time in business or whatever, and a lot of people that were my age that wanted to sit down under me and converse with me and have me be their mentor in life and certain things. I'm like, man, we're peers. But they were willing and able, like, okay, look, forget what I know, break it down, whatever. And that's a good thing too. That's basically like from the root now with them, because now they're like, all right, cool, I'm ready to recalibrate. What I know is it didn't work, When you talk about the reentry program, it's important to me. It seems like it's a good deal if somebody is trying to, if somebody wants to, I don't know who that is, but give us a second. With middle podcast is what happens here, apparently. Okay. But when they come out, they're ready to like restart. So they're ready to get that whatever, that reprogramming or whatever. So starting at a young age, it's two things. One is yes. One thing is that we could go ahead and do. Give me a second. We'll pause for 1 second if we can here. I don't know what's going on.
fortune of exposing some youth to some different stuff outside of the city.
Yeah, that's cool. It's funny you said it because I remember being in a situation where I was around these guys that was like businessmen. I was in high school and we had this mentorship program, and it was pretty dope. And I saw them, and that kind of changed my mindset. No, before the mentorship program, I was at Limblom, and they had guys coming to the school. It was like career day, and it was guys that were alumni of the school. They come by like, yeah, I graduated, went to this college, blah blah, but I own this, so I do that. And it was kind of funny because like throughout the course of a year, it was happening a lot, and we started getting to the point we was asking them how much they make a year.
Yeah. It
was crazy. I didn't realize how inappropriate it was back then, but it was obliging us an answer. They were like, well, I make this, I make that, I make this, I make that. It was like, ooh. And the number kept getting bigger and different people and stuff like that. Then they got to the point where we was like, man, that don't make no money. When they started calling like 60,000 or something, we was like, man,
Yeah.
But that kind of changed my whole mindset. So I went from Limblom to Jones. When I went to Jones, we had a male mentorship program where it was really specifically about business. And I'm like, oh, this is what I was seeing over at Limblom with these guys coming. They were career minded. They had like I said, they had careers. That's what made me kind of get into the business, and just showing me that was different because my dad wasn't a businessman. My uncles wasn't a businessman. My family member wasn't. One of my uncles was a businessman. Like he did something because he ran numbers. I don't know. I never knew what that was.
Right.
But that kind of made me want to give me activated. If I didn't see that, I wouldn't have ever thought anything about it. But I saw it young, and it kind of made me thirsty for it. Want to get more knowledge.
Yeah. I think one of the things now, like I feel like I'm charged with too, right? Is like, and can we use just a little bit of like, yeah?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
This is for more so for dramatic effect.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like we have a culture of give no fucks, right?
Right.
Like I today, I brought people into some mentoring that I'm doing, right?
Right.
But one of our bigger attributes, one of the bigger things that we bring to this space is giving a fuck. Right. And it shows in the work product. Right. If we engage in youth, right, and being present, right. I think giving a fuck, it shows in that work product. But I think we've just been succumbed to a culture of not giving a fuck. It's easy.
Yeah,
it's easy. It's so easy to But now, like, let's get a movement like giving a fuck, right? And we don't want to be in tour with the people that don't give a fuck either, right? That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm just saying, like, if I can mobilize some people that like just really give a fuck and go in and get engaged in our youth, that's our strength. That's our superpower, bro.
Well, I think personally, from what I know with a lot of young men and even my own sons, you as a person, they parent, the people that's in their life, they need somebody to actually show them that they actually give a fuck. And if you don't show that, but we talking about youth, but it goes all the way to an adulthood. If you don't show me that you give a fuck, then I'm not gonna fuck with you. Just what it is.
Facts.
So a lot of times the world is meaner right now. Like pretty much everybody is mad about something. You know what I mean? It's like shit that happened way back when, and you still letting it mess you up right now. Like that shit is over with. You passed it. Look where you at right now. You good. Yeah. And it's sometimes you have to consistently tell. Like I do. I have a very raw conversation. Pretty much just how I am on the show all the time. But me being a mom, with my boys, I couldn't do the dainty shit. I didn't have time like to be like, we finna go do this. Like so, and then they got into the streets. My two middle-year sons, and that I call them my street men, but I had to meet them where they at and show them that I care. I had to get in the trenches with them and be like, look, okay, I see it's a whole bunch of things. I couldn't be like, well, don't they hit you, don't hit you back. I couldn't do that. Like, because they was having real things happen to them.
Right.
So the first thing I did to kind of reroute that program was I introduced them to my brother because they grew up in Wisconsin and Texas. So Wisconsin is different. You and Dale, about Wisconsin. It's different than Chicago. So, you know what I mean? It's kind of, they rough now, but Chicago was rougher, So from where my brother came from, when he talked to my sons, it was like, wow, man, Unc, I didn't know you experienced that,
right.
But then he was able to talk to them and say, I gave a fuck.
Right.
I give a fuck. Yeah. I care about what y'all doing, how you doing. So don't be in the streets. Do it this way, do it that way. But I 100% agree with you. I think that should be an absolute whole a whole direct movement. Yeah. But I want children, young and old, the teens to the middle age, even middle-aged men, They need to care about their lives. A lot of them are out here, putting babies in women. They actually fucking through their emotions. They're not really facing anything, you know what I'm saying? Or they over here, they over there, and then they like a job, can't do nothing. I want that bad. But when you have somebody to actually give a fuck and show you a different way, that's what, Sip and I was trying to, implement with BPEP. And that is, it kind of changed that mindset. Let me ask you, if you don't mind me I want to divulge this, I want to go into, what happened to you. And if you don't mind sharing, how long did you get? How long did you actually have to serve? How much time did you serve?
So I served 25 years, 3 months, 3 weeks, and 3 days.
How old were you when you first went in?
17.
And when you got out?
42.
So who helped you to get reprogrammed into society?
Man, that was a combination of things, right? I think first and foremost, and I'm gonna say this just to one of the points that you made earlier, right? I came home, and oftentimes people feel like, after serving a substantial amount of time, particularly the way that I had to serve the time, right? Because I fought my case under actual innocence, right? They think that you would be angry, but I was looking at it like, why would I be angry now, right? I'm free now. I had 25 years to to be angry if that's what I had chose to do. I'm not going to be angry now. But I think when I came home, it was a combination of things, right? I had not a vast supporting cast, but I had a solid supporting cast. I had a mother. I have a mother. I'm sorry, who's a social worker, right? And that's a totally different element. Whereas, like, to have someone in house that understand, the effects of trauma, to have someone in-house that can really walk through things with you and want to see you excel, right? So I had my mom, I had my stepdad, my stepdad, hands down, strongest man on the planet to me, right? I had my grandmother, and then I had some of the things in terms of my acclimation came by way of the little people in my life. My nieces and nephews, they really showed me a lot too in terms of technology. And then I just had a will, I had a drive too, right? To okay, I understand I haven't had access to certain things for a long time. And I have to, be able to keep up with this fast-paced world. So I have to invest in me, whatever that looked like, right? And that's kind of like how I built out a program. All the things that I didn't have, I wanted people to have when they came home. And it's not to say that, I'm coddling anyone, right? But I understand how you can be a lot more focused when you come into some place looking for services to get help for this or get help for that. When you don't have bus fare, when you don't have certain things, it's hard to get to those places. So I said, okay, people that come to my program, I'm gonna give them a wage. You know what I'm saying? So now we don't even have to worry about, your bus fare, your phone bill and stuff like that, right? I came home, I didn't have any benefits. Okay. I want people to have health, dental, vision, and people have served a substantial amount of time, don't know what a 401k is. I want people to come home and be a part of my program, and these are the things that I want to give them. I had to fuck my credit up. You know what I'm saying? Coming home, because didn't nobody teach me how to be an adult when I came home. I was just winging it, right? So now I want, financial literacy is a staple of what it is that we do in terms of acclimation with, our system impacted community. It's a lot of things that, that I had to go through in order for me to build out a program, in order for me to understand how it is that, I need to invest in people. And that just ties back to just giving people a fair shake.
So your program sounds like you started where when you came home, you made a decision that no matter what, that was my past, I'm where my present at. A lot of guys that come home might not, a lot of guys have come home and that they've never even been even introduced to a program like that, or they don't even have that will. They still angry. They still mad about what was instead of what is. So what would you advise someone that come home, they ain't even did nowhere near the time you did. They just did maybe 6-7 years, or they're a grown ass man. Okay. And they haven't none of, they actually did the grind.
Right.
Okay, it wasn't no fighting and one none of that. They did it, you know. And what would you suggest for? Because a lot of the mindsets of coming home is they fucked up.
Yeah.
You know, they really is. They are disarray. They, you know, they cannot put themselves in a place. So I'm gonna give you a case in point. My son, and I could talk about him with his permission. I did tell him we'll know the number one person that I wanted to talk about was my son.
Mm-hmm.
It's been very challenging as his mother to be able to wait for him to just get it. Like you don't have to keep redoing things that put you in a position for you to keep facing jail. Okay. So it doesn't matter what I say. It doesn't matter. I talk to a lot of people, a lot of mentors, as I was telling you, chaperone, all that. It hurts different, it hits different when it's your child, right? So as his, like you say, you had a support system, you know, your mom was there, you know, I'm my son, ride or die, either one of them. It doesn't matter, I'm gonna be there. But I still need them to get it, you know, at some point. So the patience is what I'm learning still, as he's not incarcerated, but just that extended supervision process is an issue. Because when you out, you still not out. You know what I mean? Like you free, you can do a lot of things that you didn't have access to, but you still got somebody checking for you, making sure you do this and you do that. So it's those hoops or those pushing the limits that I can just do this and then I'm gonna be okay as long as they don't this, as long as they don't know. Out of everybody that you probably encounter in your program, I'm quite sure a lot of them have been on extended supervision. What is your advice to them for that?
What is my advice to people that
it's still on extended supervision?
I mean, I'm still on a certain level of supervision. Although they classify like when you come home, parole. It's not parole. It's mandatory supervised release, right?
Yeah.
But we have a registry in the state of Illinois, right? We have a few different registries. One of them being the violent offender registry, right? And then on the violent offender registry, you have to register on that registry for 10 years. You have to register each year on the exact day for 10 years. And if one infraction, you miss one, it resets. So you could be at year 9 and you miss that day, it resets to, and then if you do it 2 times, you on the registry for life. But I think, and then just to add to what you made mention of about your son, right? Like one of the things that I suggest that you, if you mind me giving you a suggestion, I suggest that you have to take solace in what it is that you poured into him, right? Because we gonna make our decisions, you know, good, bad, or indifferent to what our parents think, right? And I think one of the things that I grew into was like just remembering some of the things. We all probably did that, like just remembering some of the things that it was your grandparents, your parents poured into you, right? And in that moment, you had the slightest idea of what the hell they was talking about, right? But when you was ready for it, you was able to take that thing off the shelf and do what it need to be done with it, right? So I mean, I guess that's my suggestion. Like, man, continue to pour into them, but just take solace in you doing that part of it, you doing that work. Where you
dropping your seed, like just letting that grow and be. That's a good thing. Like having the patience to be like, because I know what you're saying. Because I'm there, we're there. Because as she's helping me through my process, I'm helping her. It's like she has a few different things she's working with. And I'm seeing her try to, you know, master being there in different places, different people's mindsets. You know, so I see that. It's like to be patient, like man, because in the case, and she don't mind me speaking on her case. It's like she'll literally say. And this is what I love about my part of my friend. She'll basically say, okay, this, that, and the other is how you should do it. And if you do this is what's going to happen. Like, just don't do this. You can kick it. Right. But this right here specifically, do not do this. I'm telling you, it's going to be good. It's like, you can't do that. And so I know what I'm doing, blah, 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 right? Then it's like a problem because she's not so adamant about like, don't do this because I know and then I just talk to her, bam, boom, right? That she says it, she does it, she hit them up, let them know, then they turn into a problem. But you tripping, mom, you against it, boo, boo. There's an issue. Now she's hurt, like, dang, you know, why you been, I know I'm sounding strong, but it's like, it's really for your own good. So now she's like, okay, you gonna do it, you're gonna do it. This way it gets crazy for a mother. It's like, they do it, and what she say happens. Mom, I need you, don't she? Like, yeah. It's crazy now, it's like, because she is the only one that is willing to go all the way with everything.
Facts.
The only one that actually knows what to do.
Yeah.
And he knows, or the child knows that they that's all they got. And so he's sitting there looking like, now if I was giving you the move and now it's costing me, let's say $5,000. I'm $3,000 short of that, but I'm gonna make it happen.
Right.
You costing me money you don't have, I don't have. I'm just making a number. This ain't no real scenario, but you costing me something that we could have made $7,000 if you had did this and the other. So it's kind of tripped out on that, and I saw it happen with that. So to piggyback off of that, it's like, man, having that patience, like just know it's gonna work through. But I do want to chime in on something you said earlier, Kim. We was asking him about the anger, like how do you deal with the anger?
I'm gonna say something about that, but I also wanted to say something about like one of my methods too, right? With just relating, right? I've learned not to just tell people, this gonna happen, that'll happen, or particularly when I be engaging you. What my method is telling them what happened to me, right? Like if you cool with sitting, having to take a shit and you could touch somebody else, if you cool with having to wait to be let to go to the shower, if you cool with having somebody tell you when you can go eat, if you cool with all of these different things, right? And it's a plethora of things that goes on in terms of like just real concrete stuff in terms of incarceration, right? I mean, we live in the size. I lived in the size of a space the size of a parking space for 25 years, right? I mean, everything, my whole life consisted of all my worldly possessions. I'm in this space with somebody else, right? And this is where they told me I was going to be for the duration, right? So if you're cool with that, by all means, continue to do what it is that you do. But I just want you to think about what happened to me. I'm not saying it's going to happen to you, right? But just think about what happened to me. And if you cool with, like I said, you talking to somebody while you showering, you cool. You in there, hey, you in there with Dale. Yeah. Taking shit. Yeah,
hey, you got the shower, man. Look, man, I'm gonna wash my drawers. Guys washing their drawers behind you while you in the shower. Yeah,
if you cool with all that stuff, I'll just that is what I've learned. Just to tell my story in a way to be really, give a real colorful illustration as to what incarceration looked like, what it looked like, in behind the wall, what it looked like. I never did. I never had the luxury to go no other place but maximum security prison, right? And I can tell you about, all of that from when they called the joints open to when the joints got shut down, right? I'm able to give you like detailed accounts of what that looked like. And then those are the things that I try and share with people when I'm telling them about, their future.
Getting in front of your own story makes a big difference.
That's strong to be able to say it. It's like, and that's another thing, Kimmy. We can't really articulate that to people because we can't say we did this, because especially in the case of our children, the situation they've encountered where it's like they are seeing this stuff. We ain't seeing it. We know Wendell. We know my man in where's he in Kansas, whatever. My buddy, my man with OMAC or whatever. We can hear what they're saying, but we've done it, so it's a little different. So we try to convey it to them, giving them those scenarios. But that's dope. That's strong.
Yeah, it's dope because you telling people like, man, it's parts of your body that you ain't even seen, but this staff members that know you like that.
They know you like that.
You know what I'm saying? They know you like that.
You gotta drop them. When they want you gotta do it. I mean, they doing it.
Yeah, they know you. So
and they come at you like, then you can't, anything you say and do, it affect you. Then they can 4-point restraints, all that kind of stuff. I want to dive into this though, going back to the anger part that I was asking about, because I think it's two different things. I think it's two ways to look at it in a way. I don't think that people that are come out angry, I don't think that they're consciously angry. And that's true. And so in one level, let's talk about, and I'm gonna go specific to our family members, where I think they're younger, which, to me, anything under 35 is young. So that's young to me, in my opinion. But they're younger, so much younger, and they're in and out. It's a little different. So it's like they're in this space of getting a little bit in, a little bit out, getting a little bit in, a little bit out. So I'm like, man, I can never really get. It's kind of like they're in the space of that. But like what you were saying, I know guys that's been in 25, 30 years, and they have a disposition, but it's not like they're angry, like, man, I'm kicking it. It's just they have it's kind of like a callous that they have because of the situation they've been in. So it's not, I don't think it's a conscious. Do you think that has any bearing on us? I don't think it's a conscious angerness. Maybe it is, but I don't know. Some of the guys, I think they just have like some of my buddies, I was telling them like they've been locked up for a long time. So they real quick to say the word fag and bitch. I'm like, you can't really, oh man, I'm bitch. They have this, they're kind of bitter towards certain things because of how they've been and, being in there so long. If you don't have that support system like you were speaking of, and it's a little wishy-washy, whatever, it can make you kind of bitter. But I don't think they walking around like, man, F the world. I think they just have a demeanor that, does that make sense?
It is. And I think one of the things that that people, I'm not going to say fail to realize, but one of the things that I'm going to point out, right, is like when you going through what you're going through in those spaces and, evolving, sometimes we don't become well-rounded. I mean, it's just like classic example, right? In terms of stature, right? You may see someone that did a lot of time, right? Come home, got a big ass upper body and some little ass legs, right? His focus has been, in a certain place,
right?
And he's been putting that attention in that space, right? And I think it's the same thing in terms of just our growth and our development, right? We don't have, just life experiences that you may go through in society in there, right? And I think sometimes that's what happened, particularly with our emotions. When you in prison, you resolve conflict one or two ways. Either I ain't gonna fuck with you or we gonna get it on.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that and if you've learned to deal with problems and issues in a certain way, in a certain environment, just because your environment changed, all those things that you have, you have to be conscious about, inventory and that stuff, unpacking it, inventory in it, and then you have to take real conscious effort of doing away with certain things. So I think in terms of that, some of that stuff it's just a process. And sometimes people need help with that process. Right. And I'm a big promoter of mental health, particularly with my community. My community, I'm a part of a community of system impacted people. The things that we went through, the conditioning that we endure is not natural in no stretch. It's not natural nowhere. It's not natural for you to live in the space the size of a parking space. That's not natural. It's not natural, no matter what, man. I think I did a presentation at a college or whatever, right? And the way I grabbed the attention of the room was I asked everyone in that room, like, what do you remember everything that you did this morning in preparation to come to this event? And people were like, yeah, I remember everything that I did this morning. So I took it a step further. I asked one of the students to come on the stage with us. And I, asked him his name, of course. And then I just asked him about, tell me about everything that you did this morning in preparation to come to this. And he was like, really happy-go-lucky, explaining all the things that he did coming to that space. And then I turned and asked the room, now imagine doing that in this space. All the shit that he just said, all the shit that y'all did this morning. Imagine just having just this space, and we had taped out the size of the cell on the stage, right? That stuff is not natural. And when you go through that stuff like that, yeah, it's a heavy form of trauma with that. And it's trauma that, people have to get help in dealing with when they come home, man. That's the only way. You have to, and it's not to say that you're weak, but if you want to live a healthy, a productive, a conducive life with a partner, it's just certain things that you have to deal with. It's certain things you have to unpack. There's some real introspection that have to be done, right?
I have to say, Wendell, I'm very impressed with how what has it been, or what have you done? If this is too personal, you can
Man, I came here, we said ain't nothing too personal. We chopping it up, bro.
What have you done to maintain your level of I wouldn't say sanity, but what's got you? Is there still residue of that? What's kept you? Because I know guys, you can kind of see at first they're very intelligent. I know some brothers are very, very intelligent. Obviously, you're an intelligent brother, but there are guys. There's certain things once you talk to them long, they be like you feel like the residue of there's certain things you say and do. I'm not picking up anything like that other than you saying what happened. How did you? And I'm going to get a clue of what I think it could have been. Number one is your support is what you said. Your mother working in sociology or being a social worker. That is like off the chain because she can kind of what Kim does with her for people. She kind of works in that space where she's socially is engaging and knowing what's going on and giving you the certain scenarios. She can kind of coach you through it. But outside of that, man, how are you able to be who you are right now?
I think I just kind of go back to like prior to this, you and I was talking, right? And certain things just be kind of simple, right? Although I have spirituality, right? I'm going to say that, but I think it's just perspective. And my perspective is like, all this beat the hell out of cell. Like seriously, all of this beat the hell out of a cell. Like I know it's like just like some of the more simplest stuff, but like I have a certain appreciation because I know where I've been. I know what a system will do to you, and I know what's at my disposal right now. What's at my disposal right now? Like I'm in the business of investing in people. At the end of the day, I understand like real growth is contingent on the opportunities you create for other people. And that's what I do. It's just that simple. I liken myself to an intersect. I'm able to bring people from two totally different worlds, right here, and we're gonna figure this stuff out. So I think, like I said, is my perspective, my spirituality, and I'm just, I'm a servant, man. I'm on my assignment. I'm creating opportunities for people, and that's where the growth at, bro. Like I really feel like the more opportunities I create for people, that's what, in my opinion, that's where growth at. That's my level of growth. It doesn't have to be, mounds of cash, even though I need cash to do what it is that I'm doing, right? But if I can create some opportunities for people to grow and sustain, or grow and just help people pouring into, like that's my journey right now. I'm just, just growing and learning and enjoying this ride. I got a passport. They told me I couldn't. I used to be on lockdown. I used to be on lockdown, like, and couldn't go across the street to the damn commissary. But now I got a passport. I go anywhere on this green earth. Like, wouldn't be mad for, I don't have no reason.
She would remind me of different things. Like you complain about this, but you could have been in this space you were in. Just think about it. She would say, someone, this time last year you was doing this, so you should kind of think about that. I'm like, okay, I have to think. At the moment, I'd be kind of like, wherever I'm at, I'd be like, oh, okay. But I think about it, I'm like, okay, I guess you're right. And like, listen to what you're saying, perspective, having that perspective. That's a strong mind. Everybody doesn't have that, because I know some people, they can't do a day in jail.
Man, I'm going to say this now. I don't think I got no more weekends or none of that in me right out of the 25. But at the same time, right? At the same time, I get calls daily, right? Literally daily. Up to 10 calls from people that's still incarcerated, right? And sometimes we speak, figuratively, right? But I know people that would give up a limb, like literally, to be in a position that I'm in.
I'm sorry, I have to say this because when you was telling Sip about where you were, and it's just your true perspective. But I actually think I'm picking up if you coming off very grateful. Like I get it when you say you can tell a story, like, yeah, I get what you're saying. So we can talk to different people and we haven't been in that shoe. So like myself, I talk about experiences of things that I've experienced. A lot of times when I'm talking to people, it's things that I have truly experienced, not just being a mother or a friend or someone else. It's somebody I'm actually coaching, talking to, and I'm seeing them go through all these steps. And this is their outcome. But I feel like a lot of guys that I've talked to that did 20, 30 years, and they just have a different they very grateful than somebody that have done truly lesser time, because their mindset is like you consistently keep saying as you're talking now is that, man, I know what it's like to be in that cell. So I try one of my best coaching things that I try to do when I'm talking to them is about, do you remember where you were though? Look at where you at right now. And I understand, like you say, Sip, it's a strong mind that he has. But actually, if you tell yourself that consistently, to me, I feel like it puts you in a better mindset, because you can't be Wendell, who you are right now, to invest in other people if you didn't take the time to invest in you.
Definitely.
So at some point, you have to say, okay, yeah, I did this shit. I did 17, 25 years. Okay, now Wendell, what we finna do? How I'm finna live my life. You have great support system. Some people don't got none of that. Mm-hmm. So at some point in your mind, you still have to say what you're going to do, how you going to show up every day. So in order for you to show up every day, you cannot keep letting your past. You know what I'm saying? You can't, like you said, you have to give a fuck about what's going on right now, because you did that. You did the time. You went through all that trial, all that. Now you have to face where you at and say, this is what I'm going to do. So just like, even as with my son and his friends and different people, my sons between the age of 20 and 22, all of them young men used to come over my house. I think I had like 20 or 12 guys coming over to my house, and only 8 of them. I mean, I think we just buried like 8 of them within the last 3 years. That's sad. But my 2 boys are still living. So it's like, I don't even have to run that. Like I said, I'd be like, have y'all thought about the guys? And it like changed their whole perspective. So, you know, I feel I'm very big on this, is meeting people where they at and then checking inventory. Because I think a lot of times, if you knew you ran out of the stock of believing and being confident in yourself, then you're going to need to move away from that and go and refuel that fire. Because a lot of times we be around people that ain't been where you at. Like, I can't say to you or say, like, I know what it's like to be away or be in a car. I can't say that. But what I can say is that you ain't where you were. Mm-hmm. And where you at, and wherever you want to be, you're going to have to wrap yourself in that, and then that's where you're going to go. But if you keep on letting your past, you know what I'm saying, hit you different in your present, you will never see your future. So that's how I talk to pretty much all of I had a program we had kind of started with in Milwaukee, is Black Young Men. So I decided to change it. It's going to be under our program BPEP, with Black Young Masters, because I think a lot of their mindsets, just like you said, is a lot of the guys don't feel like nobody can. They really don't. They just don't feel like it don't matter. I'm like, who telling you this? Sometimes they sitting up, you know, they rolling up, they smoking, they drinking, you know what I'm saying? And they like, you know, I'm gonna go hit this, I'm gonna do this, and just their whole mindset. I'm like, so you ain't got nothing else to do. So you know what's gonna happen to you after this. You're gonna be in somebody's jail cell. Somebody gonna piss you off because you're already mad. That's somebody gonna piss you off, and then you're gonna do that. So that's the beginning. But what about the guys that they're not even doing it? They're not smoking, they ain't drinking. You know what I'm saying? It's just somewhere along the line, they lost a job. They've been mad about their life. They never healed in certain areas. And then it manifests out to them doing things to other people. You know what I'm saying? Like that and anger, as we're talking about. Like, so that's who we want to reach. We want to reach those people at the very beginning to kind of change their mindset. And the people, we got to meet them where they at, that has already experienced that type of trauma to them, that they're so angry that they don't even look to another way. For example, if I put you in a room with 10, 12, 20 guys and you tell your story, and I mean, you know, you say this would happen to me, this and that, people gonna hear it on our show. It's gonna be a guy that's gonna say, so what? I ain't scared of no jail. I mean, this is their mindset. I'm not scared of no jail. That don't mean nothing to me. That's you, nigga. That ain't me. I'm gonna get past that. You see what I mean? Their mindset. So with that said, and this is a true story, case in point, I was at Milwaukee 24. You know what Milwaukee 24 is, right? The television station. Okay. So a lot of people just want to get on, they rap and sing and stuff like that. A lot of the young men come on that. So I had like 4 or 5 guys, and they was coming on. The head guy there, name is Jerry. So we had all the guys coming in. This one guy who was just, you know, everybody was all positive, but he was just negative. Like, it was nothing we could say. Like, we was pouring into him, and to the point that where I started seeing the other guys start changing because his negativity was so strong. He was like, you know, it didn't matter. And then, so we was like, what we gonna do with this guy? Because they was like, we not finna go on. So I just stepped to the guy, pulled him to the side and say, you know, what are you so mad about? You know what I'm saying? Right. Like, if I'm like, you here, you got clothes on, and I said it just like that. But because I met him with the same type of anger and aggressive, that's where the respect came in. And then he began I was able to turn back layer after layer. So meeting them where they at, to me, most of the time happens, but he didn't want that. What they was offering him, like, stories, and you can do this, and we can give you this program. He didn't want that. He was looking like that was some, Betty Crocker stuff. He wanted you to meet him where he was, talk that talk and walk that walk with him. So a lot of times I think, even in you experienced all the time that you have, I think the best attribute that you have that you share with us today is the fact that you're grateful for where you were and you're very present to where you at.
I am.
And it does not take a lot, but I feel like that's just you and Wendell doing it, you and yourself, you know what I mean? Doing it. It's great you can have all that, because I can talk all day and I can support them. At some point, that's why I said patience comes in. You have to have that in order for you to get somewhere within you. Have to say, I got to get through this, because just in coaching or anything we go through in our lives right now, we have to say we can't stay this way. I mean, we can keep complaining about it. We can keep on saying it's not happening, but am I really doing anything to make it be different? Well, I'm just complaining about it all the time, because that's what I hear a lot. I hear a lot of complaining. I hear a lot of, this woe is me, this and that. And I'm not gonna lie, it rubs me so wrong, the wrong way. But at the same time, I try to meet them where they at to see if I can, pull it out of them. It's that trauma.
It's so deeply rooted, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I think about one of the things you said about me doing what it is that I do. Yeah, I have to reinforce certain things.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I have to get up and look at me every day and be like, okay, yeah, this is gonna be a good day, right? And I feel like that's a choice for me, right?
Yeah,
it's a choice for me to embrace good energy. When I come into spaces, that's what I try and arm myself with. Just bring some good energy to whatever it is that I'm doing, right? I've just had so much time to be around so much negativity, where I couldn't get away from it, right? So now it's like if I feel it or if I know it somewhere, I'm removing myself from it. But at the same time, it's not gonna stop what it is that I'm bringing to these spaces, right? I'm a continue to make the choice to arm myself with bringing some good energy. And I think sometimes with some people, they working through what it is that they working through and don't really see that as a valuable option. But I'm getting a little older now. I understand how stress, work on people. I understand, how laughter help people. I understand how, good energy. And I'm trying to embrace all that now. Like I really am. I love what it is that I'm doing. I love having the opportunity to just pour into some people. I don't mind sharing my story. I'm cool with going in the room with 300-400 people that I don't know and walk away with 15-20 people that I do know. All of it is just an experience to me, man. I look at once again how you said just that appreciation. I looked at how many weekends, how many Saturday nights I spent in in a certain place where I couldn't come out and hang out with my man and chop it up with kids. I couldn't do that. But now, I've had an extensive day. I got some other stuff going on after this, but I appreciate y'all inviting me on y'all show. I appreciate being able to share. I appreciate us trying to figure ways to collaborate, and I appreciate us understanding what it means to give a fuck.
That's right. I think we just created that.
All right. I mean,
I think that's the movement we're gonna do.
We can get some money off of that.
Absolutely. Y'all heard it right here.
Right. We get some money off that.
Yes, we're gonna. I was thinking that that's really dope, man. And it was funny because when you first got in here, you was like, man, you haven't done a podcast.
I have not.
So this is first time doing a podcast. So we really appreciate you. Yeah. We really do appreciate you coming out and expressing yourself. And I think he thought we were really coming at you with something like that. You were like, man, what's the question gonna be before I get on there? You gonna we ain't pulling no dirt on you.
No, it's just one of the things that I do, right? So I in my primary job, I am a fundraiser, right? And in fundraiser, I do homework. Okay. I like to be prepared for whatever arena that I'm going in, right? I like to be prepared. So if it was something that you all wanted me to, to talk about. I really wanted to be prepared for that. But I mean, but it being like this, it was cool. You was like, nah, bro, we gonna kick it. You know what I'm saying? And we gonna chop it up. So
it was so funny. He was like, so what we sipping on? Like, I felt bad because like normally we do have it for, but we
gave you the.
We'll do a part 2, and then on our part 2 we'll have. Do you smoke cigars?
I do not, but I will.
Okay. So what we'll do is
I told you I'm here, man. I'm enjoying every aspect of it.
What Kim and I are gonna do, we're gonna set you up with a nice cigar, nice drink. Are you a dark or like?
I can do some dark. That's fine.
So we're gonna set you up a nice cigar and the drink. We're gonna have it set for you. We're gonna do a part 2 where it's gonna be a more comfortable environment. We're gonna smoke and drink, even after, before, and be able to have a good time because you really get the experience of the Sip and Spill show.
Yes.
I don't know if you had a chance to. I may have missed it. Maybe. Well, forgive me for that. I don't have a chance to talk about your organization, talk about it, how we can find you, and all that stuff. You can just tell everybody if that's something you're willing to do.
I mean, yeah, you can definitely like I work. My primary job is restore justice. We work in criminal legal reform. We advocate for fairness and compassion throughout the criminal legal system. We advocate for people who received extreme sentences when they were youth, and that's it's like it's so many people that just need a voice, and I feel like I'm reflective of so many people that I left behind. I feel like one of my bigger contributions to the people that I left behind is just my actions and my deeds, letting people see and understand what long-term incarceration can look like. You don't have to be afraid to let people out. Help stabilize people, and they're gonna be productive members of society.
I mean, I appreciate that. So is there a way that people can contact you? Are you open to people contact you? Are you open for that? Is that kind of more of a
I mean, so I'm gonna say this. I'm not on any social media. I don't do no social media.
Okay.
And I have the reason why I don't do any social media is I have too many things right now to worry about. Like I don't have, like, when people talk about don't having the time, I really don't have the time, to be worried about a whole lot of other stuff.
A lot of people don't have social media.
Yeah, I don't do it for that. And then like like a lot of my additional time, I'm in the mentoring space. I'm trying to pour into some kids. I'm trying to possibly change the trajectory of some of their lives, right? I've been so blessed to where I can go into these different group homes, right? And they classify them as neglected sites and just really, engage in some kids that done had it bad since they were 4 and 5 years old. I tell people like, I couldn't imagine what it'd have been like. Like I've been through some things, right? And I don't like measuring, what one person has been through, to the other. But in this instance, it's like I couldn't imagine if my mama would have dropped me off at 4 or 5 years old and be like, "Go on, figure it out. I'm gonna go over here and I'm gonna get high. I'm gonna go, do what it is that I do. But I'm gonna put you over here with this with DCFS, and you figure it out over there for the rest of your life." But these are some of the youth that I have the opportunity to pour into, right? These are some of the youth that I'm trying to help and shape, mold their lives. So that's where a lot of my time is right now.
You know what I'm impressed in a lot of time. You're very particular with the words you use. You just said that's what you choose to. You something about your time. You said something. The way you did it, it was almost like it was a privilege, the honor to give them that time. The way you said it, I like how you choose your words, how you express what you mean, because it doesn't seem like. Because it was almost like that's a tough situation. That's very heartbreaking and wrenching to say that. You said this is where you. It was the way you said it was pretty dope.
I think what I realize is one of our most valuable commodity is our time, and I'm able to have control as to how I dispense my time right now.
And then we didn't have that before. We was like that.
Never had it. So right now, if I'm able to dispense my time in a certain way, or organize and arrange my time, that's my most valuable commodity, and that's one of the things that I'm trying to get this community of people to understand how valuable their time is.
And brother, I appreciate you, man. It was a pleasure. It was eye-opening. We had conversations before, but just to really hear you really go through it in detail and see the heart behind it, the intention behind it. Like you said, you're very specific with the words you use as relates to how you address certain things. Or even what I can say about talking to those youth that had those type of situations where their mothers said that for like, I don't know what you're gonna do. I'm about to go enjoy myself, that type of thing. And dealing with those people, like a group of people, not just one. Like you're dealing with a home or establishment of children who have these similar stories.
5 different homes, actually.
5 different homes with a group of people.
I was at 3 today.
And that's a lot. And you said, and the way you said it, like you chose, it was like you was honored, and it was God has given you this, almost in the way God has given you that privilege to be able to give.
That's a fact.
That's something you can give them, and that right there is impressive. Like I said, I've been impressed with you. I don't want to sound like you're some sort of a I don't know, like an experiment project or something like that. They say I'm impressed with you because you are an intelligent brother. But I'm always I look at things for where they are, and I try to see people like, man, I try to, as best I can, to put myself in their shoes, on a person's shoes, and try to view it through their lenses. And I'm like, man, that's I be tripping on the time I had, and I'm like, you really had, like you said, I wasn't in a cell, you know what I'm saying? I didn't have a cellie for real. I had a bunkie, but they call them cellies, but I didn't have a cellie for real. I actually was able to go in the yard a lot. So and I was tripping on that, you know what I'm saying? And so to have somebody, like you said, we actually had private stalls, you know what I'm saying? So to have that, and then we weren't, you know what I'm saying, we weren't doing no 23-and-1s and stuff like that. So I was tripping on what I was doing, and then like to hear you articulate and show the appreciation and show the growth and show your care and concern for the next man, and then willing to give your time for it, man. That's without having any of these like and this is another thing too. I'm gonna say this before we close out. I really want people to see this is an example. Don't get it twisted of what you think about a person that was formerly incarcerated, because a lot of people have an idea of what that looks like. And this is a guy that had spent time in, did what he had to do, and is more productive than most of you motherfuckers that had been doing shit your entire life and never got in trouble. Giving to the community, self-checking yourself. You seem like a person that's going like, okay, let me get back on my game. The fact you say you have the discipline to not be on social media because you got so many things you're doing, and you're selfless with it. Like you actually want to see people win. And this is what that looks like. So don't take it as, or don't think what you think a person that was formerly incarcerated looks like, which is why it's so important for me and Kim to talk about when we do a spill, talk about our BPEP, because we think it's important. We have a focus we look at as far as how we help them because of what we know and the experiences and the knowledge that we have. But it's like, it looks like a wonderful person that has a lot to offer. That's what it looks like. You can't get twisted and think this is what that is. And so you're a great example of that, man. And so the last time I give you an opportunity to tell us how to reach you, if you have an email, forget the social media, but that's if that's something that you're open to. If you're saying your plate is full, that's fine. Or if we keep it like that, where just want them to know who you are, you're not really interested in them knowing how to reach you, that's cool. That's no knock. That's a good deal. I just was.
You know what? I misspoke. I'm so sorry. I have a LinkedIn account. I do have a LinkedIn account. I do have a LinkedIn. I'm so sorry, Kim. I don't want to, confuse your audience, but I do have a LinkedIn account.
Okay. No, I mean, I was gonna literally say that I know SIP is, y'all see, Ed is kind of saying it, but I think that the way they can reach you is what we want to do. We'll do a part 2, but we want to collab with you regarding our program. I think it'd be a great connection from what we want to do with BPEP to what you're already doing. So if anybody gonna come through whatever, they're gonna come through BPEP. We know how to reach you. We know how to get to you. I know a lot of guys understand that they don't want to be on social media. Y'all come out and that's not your world. I get it. I mean, I'm in the world and I'm not a big social media fan. However, I love my fans. We do this, Mitchell&Mitchell Super Spill, we do this because we wanted to create a platform for people to talk about things that get you uncomfortable, get you on things that you just think your mindset, you just know how it works. As Sip just said, don't just look at a person because they was incarcerated or they was a felon, that this is who they are. They actually is a human being, that things happen to them. But I'm going to go ahead and give you your flowers and say the number one thing that I will give you the most respect for is the fact that you actually is doing the work. Yeah. Because it takes work to have the mindset that you have. It actually takes work. So you can, it's like you either you're going to get down or you're going to sit down. Which one you going to do? Mm-hmm. But at some point you had that. And I think that's what you will offer every young man that will come through our program. And because you've been there, you can meet them where they're at.
Right.
And we can prevent the people that could go where you were. So that's kind of the big thing, what we want to do. But we definitely appreciate you, Wendell, for giving us your time.
We really do.
We really do. We appreciate that. That is miraculous.
So
awesome.
we do a part 2, you guys. This is
Yeah.
my man Wendell. Wonderful guy, gave his story. We got more we're gonna do. We're gonna actually sit down and kick it because we hadn't had a chance to really sit down and kick it. We talked a couple of times.
Yeah.
But listen, guys, we like you, we love you, we want more of you. And it's been real, it's been fun. And every time we do our show, every time we kick it, every time we get a chance to talk to some wonderful, wonderful people that are making impacts in this world, it's always, don't ever get it twisted. Don't let nobody tell you anything goddamn different. It's always, goddamn it, real motherfucking fun. We're gonna holler back at y'all.
Peace
okay?
out.